Howdy, folks. I'm a scintillating Sunday scallion,
I'm Amber.
and here's some some Reddit. All right, folks. Our first letter is titled, "Am I a jerk for uninviting my dad from my wedding because he refuses to pay for anything towards it unless it's vegan?" I'm a 30-year-old, and since I was a child, he has always said that he would pay for my wedding. About 5 years ago, he started a relationship with a lady who has some quite extreme views. She's a vegan, which is fine, but she is very judgmental in how I live. She doesn't agree with the cancer scans like smear tests, mammograms, etc., because vegans don't, quote, get cancer. I just want to pause here real quick and say that that is medical misinformation.
Mm-hmm.
When I had my daughter, she said that I should be feeding her almond milk. And I want to pause right here once more. Do not feed babies almond milk.
No, it is not a substitute for formula.
I'm not a pediatrician, but talk to your pediatrician about how to serve food to your baby. Once she came to my house for dinner, and I cooked a chicken for me and my family and a nut roast for my father and her. She later dug a hole in my garden to give the chicken bones a proper funeral because she was so heartbroken to see us eating its flesh and blood. I wish I was joking. She has also accused me of trying to steal her father's house. I have never met her father. I have never set foot in her father's house. All I know is that he died recently. I had communicated some cost of living worries to my dad, not asking for money, and she ran with it and said that I was trying to manipulate her into giving me her inheritance. I don't want her inheritance. Long story short, my father will only pay for a wedding if it's vegan. This not only includes food, but shoes, alcohol, and what other people wear, for example leather, and anything else you can think of. I might have been okay with vegan food, but I'm not okay with policing what people wear or food that they bring for their babies, even formula, etc. This has really upset me. It's not about the money. We are having a very small, cheap do anyways. In the run up to the wedding, this woman has also been extremely rude to my mother. On reflection, I have now decided it's best all around if they do not attend. She's now telling my dad's side of the family that it's just about the money and that I'm bitter because I didn't get her dad's house. Why on earth would I want to be given her dad's house? And that my dad isn't paying for my wedding. But to be honest, it's really not about the money. I don't want to be controlled over what I can and can't do on my wedding day. I'm sick of her judgment and his. Now she's gotten her claws into him. And I just think it will be better for me, my siblings, and my mother if they do not come. I also don't want to be lectured over milk, dairy, honey, palm oil, you name it, on my wedding day, and I don't want to put my guests through it either. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk or not the jerk?
Not the jerk. This is taking things to an extreme. Like, what is she gonna do? Ask everyone to take their shoes off so she can check up their leather? Ask people to hand over their belts? Like, this is excessive.
Well, I think that if you invite this woman to your wedding, then there's going to be a bunch of funerals there
That's what I was
too.
gonna say. Yeah, it's like, what's she gonna do? Start like digging a giant hole in the ground of your venue to
Yeah.
throw all the bones into?
Yeah,
Like,
she'll turn it into a giant funeral,
yeah.
and then you'll have to mourn over each belt and each shoe that has been brought in.
As well as any dinner items that aren't vegan.
Yeah. So I think that she has some very, very extreme views to the point that they aren't healthy, and you know, you don't want to push your views on other people. It doesn't really help people come to see your perspective. The only thing that happens is people will tend to dig their heels in, and it's really important that if you do have a belief, I'm of a personal kind of feeling that you just kind of demonstrate your beliefs, and if people are interested in them, then they'll just be like, oh hey, maybe they'll ask you about them, or maybe they'll just observe you. What?
Oh, just like wallets too are made of leather.
Oh
Like
yeah.
everyone's gonna have to hand over their wallet to her.
Everyone's over here like, grinning. And I'm like, am I saying something that just is completely nonsensical here?
No, I was just having this scenario of like her just like asking everyone for their shoes, belts, and wallets, and like how awful would that be for the guests? Like you're probably best off you did not do this, OP. Like don't let them there because I do not see that going well for you. But yeah, no, OP, I don't think you're in the wrong for not wanting these people to try and commandeer your wedding day.
And Caw81 says, not the jerk, your wedding, etc. Why did you exclude both of them and not just exclude her? And OP replies, I honestly doubt that he would come if I didn't invite her. And Frozen Star 79 says, not the jerk, honestly, she sounds like she's tiring and pretty apparent that she's going to cause some drama, so better that they stay home and enjoy their tofu. And OP replies, honestly, she's exhausting. Even without the house thing, she's exhausting. And North Starlet says, not the jerk. I think that you're right that it will be better if they don't come, since they can't keep themselves from trying to control everything and everyone around them. It's insufferable, and you don't need that headache on your wedding day. And OP replies, the thing is this, the guilting and the controlling behavior that they engage in. The food being vegan could have been fun. It could have been a conversation point, but they will use it all to push their vegan agenda, and I'm exhausted by it. Alright, folks, our next scintillating scallion post for Sunday is titled, Am I a jerk for wanting my husband to say that I am an author? Yes, let's move along.
No.
Amber has been waiting a couple of days for me to read this one. She likes this one a lot, folks, so that's why I was just giving her a hard time. My husband and I have been together for 15 years. We were talking about another Am I the Jerk post, the pilot, and it came to me mentioning that I would be proud when he introduces me or talk about me that he says that I'm a government employee but also an author. To be clear, I'm 31 and I've written 7 books and 6 of them are published. I have 4 publishers in Canada. I sometimes do book fairs and presentations, and I have a check once a year for each book. Anyways, my husband says that I'm not an author because I do not do that for a living, and that he would be upset if someone said that they were living later on and learned that it was just a hobby. Am I wrong? Edit info. My books are fantasy genre for teenagers and young adults. I won an award and was nominated for 3 others. I published 6 books and they were through accredited publishers. They also each have 150 to 399 pages and they were published in French. I get around $2,000 to $5,000 a year for them. All right, folks, what do you think? Jerk
Not
or not the jerk?
not the jerk. I think that this you are an author, OP, and I think your husband's idea of what an author is really out of touch with the reality. If you go into any bookstore and look around, very few of those authors actually are like full-time authors. Like, yeah, sure, the big names like Stephen King, he does that all day long. But most authors, believe it or not, actually cannot do it because the pay rates, even for really good authors, are really low.
Well, and also, she's earning $25,000 a year off of these books, right? And I think that that right there is pretty much a almost a living salary for some people, depending on your area. But the point I want to make here more than anything is that something stops being a hobby the moment you get paid for it. So his definition of a hobby is really bizarre
Mm-hmm.
because she's literally getting paid for it. She's not doing this as a hobby anymore.
Yeah, if she had another part-time job that she works 10 hours a week or something, she would still be able to claim that as a source of employment. Oh yeah, I'm this and this.
Yeah.
So why is writing any different? Like it just feels like he wants to gatekeep what it means to be an author.
Yeah. So I do think that that's really the way this kind of sounds.
I mean, literally the only thing you have to do to be an author is write something and publish it. That is all.
Exactly. Exactly. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some coffee right here because it's a Sunday morning, and Amber has a scintillating scallion joke for us.
When does a joke become a dad joke?
Well, I mean, apparently when it's made out of scallions, because that's like the running theme of this. So, yeah.
No, when the punchline is apparent.
Meow, 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 meow. No. I refuse to accept your punchline.
I think it's good. I thought this one was fun. I like it. All right. How do you stop an astronaut's baby from crying?
How do you stop an astronaut's baby from crying? Is this baby in space?
I'm not telling.
If this baby is in space,
It's not in
then
space.
you call protective services because babies in space are should not be happening. I know you're about to tell me the punchline and all, but I want to delay this. I want to milk this one for as much as it's worth here. You stop a space baby from crying by making sure that you put it into an L1 orbit around an asteroid so that no one can hear it cry because in space no one can hear you cry.
You rocket.
We're putting it into space? This is so irresponsible. How can you put a baby into space? I don't.
You literally just advocated for that.
Well, I said don't.
And then you said, but you put it in an L1 orbit.
Yeah, but I mean, what I'm saying is like, don't do that. It's child neglect. It would be very bad to do that. Don't put babies in space. And I've got coffee. This channel just went downhill. Everyone was just unsubscribed simultaneously. We're talking about putting babies in space. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. I hope you enjoyed the Sunday morning special. I hope your weekend is going spectacularly, super amazing, and some other S words that I just don't have off the top of my head. I wish I did, but they don't exist anymore. Thanks so much for watching. Amber, what's the moral of the story today?
All right, well, I'm going to go with the second story. And I think a good moral there is to respect your partner's jobs. And, even if that's not their primary job, even if it's something that people sometimes do as a hobby, still respect that if someone is publishing, they're an author. If someone is making art and getting it out there, they're an artist. Don't gatekeep.
Yeah. And my moral of the story is don't put babies in space.
I mean, I think that's fair.
Yeah.
Don't do that. That's not a good idea.
Thanks so much for watching, and we will see you all tomorrow.
Bye.
I don't know where I was going with that. It's like, oh, I'll think of something in time, which I didn't think of something in time.
Here's a tasty meal, except it's not a meal, it's Reddit.
Here's a tasty vegan Reddit meal that's not vegan anymore.